the only that's missing. Okay, so here's how to, let's okay, these are just some double constants that we have. So all right, so if I now notice I typed the word double with a capital D, that should suggest that double is actually a class, and we'll kind of go into that later in the course. We'll kind of examine the connection between the things like the double class and the primitive value of double. But okay, so now look at the different options that I have. There are three that are roughly of interest. Okay, one is, here's negative infinity, there's your NaN, you're not a number, and there's your positive infinity. Now look at how this is defined. See in the little Java doc up here. Actually, let's. And what does that look like? If I just print this, it should, it actually prints infinity. So I don't have to create this string. Java creates the string for me if I try to print that. The other thing to notice is, like in the little video, there was a question yesterday, is how do I know what things are available? There are a couple things. One is sometimes this little pop-up comes up, and the pop-up also gives you methods that I can invoke. And then in this case, these are actually constants or values that I can access. So that's one way to find out what's there. The other is I can actually take a look at where this is defined. So if I right click on it and say navigate, go to source, this is where it's actually defined. And remember, we talked about the difference between an instance variable and a class variable. So the difference being this keyword static. So we see that this positive infinity is defined to be a public static final. Okay, remember, final means that you can't change it. Double, primitive, this is a primitive now, positive infinity, and then they define it as 1 over 0, which is, just the way Java does its floating point calculations. That kind of produces this special value, which is, again, normally you really can't or shouldn't do that. Okay, so so in other words, this is an example of a static instance variable, and by making it final, it's essentially a constant. Okay, so so you can use that here, and then there's similarly, we have this, and so when I run that, I get the minus infinity, and then here's the NaN, which is okay. So that's you're all familiar with these concepts, and